Hi everybody, it's Amanda Davis again, owner and founder of Business Solutions by Design, your accounting ally, coming back to you this week to talk about our main topic this month, which is fraud. So we're in the month of July talking about all things fraud and everything related to that. So last week we kind of gave an intro as to the various levels of fraud that maybe your business or your organization could potentially see. This week we're kind of talking about the people. When it comes to your business or your organization, people are the biggest variable you have. Anytime somebody gets into having employees and trying to manage the workflow with people, that just brings in a whole different dynamic, and that in itself is challenging. But additionally to all of that, finding the right person, can they do the job? Are they going to do it timely? Do they fit into the culture? Are they going to be easy to work with? Are they going to follow the rules? And are they going to do the right thing? Do they have the right ethics? Do they have the right standards of business for you and your customers? So think about it. If given the opportunity, will your employee do the right thing, or maybe do something in the gray area, or will they do something completely fraudulent altogether? I was talking with a few people on this topic, and think about it. If somebody clocks in and stands around and doesn't do their job, that technically is kind of stealing from you because you're paying them not to do their job, and that's a very low level threat, if you will. But then it comes to a higher level threat, like, can the employee come and steal checks from you and cash them? Can the employee, make deals that you otherwise wouldn't? You hear about all these back office dealings. Well, sometimes that happens in business. Sometimes the person who you're entrusting to make these decisions really aren't looking out for your best interest. Maybe they're looking out for their family or their friend or so-and-so, and maybe you're not getting the best deal or the best qualifications. These are very low-level things that are concerning with people in the organization, but in addition, they can do things, there's a word, it's a big word in the fraud community called collusion. And so there's a lot of ways you can check and make sure that people don't do the wrong things, but if you have one person covering up for somebody else, that's almost impossible in many cases to determine or identify or locate fraud. In a lot of cases, especially with employee theft or any kind of employee fraud, it's usually found after the fact and it's usually not persecuted. So it's really quite interesting to think that you could hire somebody who stole from another company and you probably wouldn't find that out in a background check because they didn't prosecute. And the reason they didn't prosecute in all likelihood is that then becomes public record. And they have to explain to their customers and the rest of the world, letting them know that they allowed somebody to steal from them. And a lot of companies just simply don't want that kind of publicity. So that becomes an issue. So think about those type of things when you're hiring people. We're going to be talking about later on this week all the different ways to combat this stuff. So we're just kind of trying to introduce different things that can happen. In many cases, a person who may steal from your company or your organization, in all likelihood, is somebody that you've known, liked, trust, may actually consider family. They are so close. Those are probably your biggest risks because you would never consider them as somebody who would steal from you. I've actually been accused of theft twice in my lifetime, and both of them were completely wrong. And one of them was really an interesting story. I'd love to share it here with you today. I was working in my very younger years, going to school, living on my own, and had this really piddly job in the mall at one of those paint mug places. And anyway, so the owners really thought that I was stealing money out of the cash register, and they just knew it was me. And the way they handled it was really inappropriate, because what they ended up doing is they called a meeting with everybody but me. And they told everybody that I was stealing. And they told everybody that they were going to put a camera up to find me and on tape see me stealing, which I'm sure they were then going to prosecute me because they knew I was stealing money from them. The downfall is the fact that they were wrong, and I'm not trying to say that because I'm high and mighty. I just in fact wasn't stealing from them. It actually was somebody else. So they told that person what they were doing. And so I'm sure they never figured out who was stealing or what happened. Needless to say I didn't stay with them very long. the whole like and trust thing is a big factor for me. And the second that broke down, kind of demised our relationship quite quickly. But you know, if you're suspecting something, you see something weird happening, get some professional help, talk to some people, see what things you can be doing. There's internal controls you can put in place. You can also do things before you bring people on to try to make sure they're not doing anything. But even that person who's been with you forever and you just know that they wouldn't steal from you, I can tell you, given the right opportunity and circumstance, they will rationalize it and they will do it. If that person's kid got hit by a car and they need the money and they think for whatever reason you would totally lend them that money and they just simply didn't ask you and took it, that's theft. That's fraud. And that's a problem. And you probably wouldn't even suspect that person. And the reason these people tend to get caught, the reason these situations tend to get identified is when the people put the money back, when they try to fix it. So it's really scary to think that that kind of thing could happen and not be found out for quite some time. And like I said, there are some ways that you can manage it. We'll be talking about that more on our next blog. So we'll finish here for now. This is Amanda Davis, owner and founder of Business Solutions by Design, your accounting ally. We'll be talking to you next week. Have a great day.